Welcome to Ringling College of Art and Design. I'm Jim Harrington. I'll be your guide on this visit. This is one of Sarasota's jewels, one that's expanding. 2 new buildings this year, growing in size, in number of students, and in reputation. One of the top art and design schools in the country. A half block up Martin Luther King off Tamiami Trail sits the school's Selby Gallery. Its outstanding art shows always open to the public. Inside, 3 artists are setting up a new exhibit, Perestroika Restructuring, the art glass of Kathleen Mulcahy and Ron Desmett, and the photography, painting, and installation of Martin Prekop. Be sure to read art historian Kristina Olson's exceptional essay on this show in the brochure. Kevin Dean, Selby director, saw the catalog of the trio's show Glassnos at the Carnegie Mellon University during the 2007 Glass Art Society convention in Pittsburgh. He liked it. With a small assist from Ringling College trustee Carol Kaminer, it was reconstructed for Sarasota. The artists will tell you about their work. Let me tell you a bit about them. Kathleen got introduced to glass at Keene University in New Jersey, got her master's in glass sculpture at Alfred in New York. Her work is in collections at the Smithsonian Renwick, at Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh, the Corning in New York, American Craft Museum in New York, and the State Museum of Pennsylvania. Also, dozens of private and corporate collections. That's a rather young Kathleen, and definitely a much younger Dale Chihui and Billy Morris. Early in her career, Ms. Mulcahy won a National Endowment for the Arts Award, a Fulbright Scholarship that took her to Murano, Italy, and a Master's Work Fellowship at the Creative Glass Center of America. She was artist in residence in Pittsburgh, Corning, Paris, among others. She's been repeatedly honored by Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania. Mulcahy and husband Ron Desmett have collaborated on numerous public sculptures and installations, including Philip Glass opera, Sound of a Voice. The Spirit of Duquesne stands at the entrance of that Pittsburgh University. This graces the lobby of the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission. In 1991, Mulcahy and Desmett founded and were the driving force in establishing the Pittsburgh Glass Center as one of the top teaching glass art facilities in the country. Ron Desmett got his bachelor's in art education at the University of Akron, his master's in sculpture from Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh. His work is in the Smithsonian Renwick, in Carnegie Museum, in University of Pittsburgh, and at Wabash College. He too had a Master's Work Fellowship at the Creative Glass Center, a Pennsylvania Council of the Arts Fellowship. He was artist in residence at the Museum of Glass in Tacoma, Washington. Both have had dozens of gallery shows, but each does his or her own thing. Martin Prekop is not a so-called glass artist, although he uses glass in his installations, along with his photography and his painting. Martin is a teacher. He has been a professor and/or visiting artist at schools in England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Mexico, Chicago, West Virginia. Professor and Dean at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, Dean of the College of Fine Arts at Carnegie Mellon University. Currently, he is a professor at Carnegie Mellon. Along the way, Prekop has picked up a Fulbright in London, artist grants from the Illinois Arts Council, and the National Endowment for the Arts. His work is in the Art Institute and the Museum of Contemporary Art in Chicago, in Cranbrook, Carnegie Mellon, and the University of Illinois in Evansville. First item of business. Who's in charge? I mean, the 3 of you work together. Who's in charge? Who calls the shots?
I do.
The 3, you, I do?
We all do.
No.
No, I think there's a pair. These 2 guys work together as a pair.
Yeah.
And I'm the 3rd, and we're doing a collaboration now.
Yeah.
You know, for this
But if you
show.
disagree on something, who decides?
Oh, well, we just bitch.
Martin Prekop, painter, photographer, installation artist. Which is it?
I see myself as an artist that uses whatever medium seems best suited to the idea that I have. It usually takes the form, finally, of a combination of things. So more often, when I exhibit, it's as an installation artist. Everything that I photograph, by the way, I make. I have photographed my house and
Your
the
house?
stuff that I make. All the photographs are of the house that I built, and renovated and made into my image as an artist, and all of the pieces that I photographed are pieces that I made to photograph.
You've spent the bulk of your life teaching and running schools.
Teaching and administrating, and I've always, at the same time, I've always had an art
Has that
practice.
gotten in the road of your art?
Well, I think all of us, all practicing artists have to make some compromises in our time and our energies, and I have been very lucky in being able to be at the head of very good schools, the Art Institute of Chicago and Carnegie Mellon, where there's a good support staff, and I had a lot of support from my colleagues and the people that work with me.
So you had time
I had
to do...
time. I had time.
Glass is beautiful and glass is sensual, and yet you seem to want to get away from that
stuff.
You do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
I think it's a material that can just be used for people make it and it's like beautiful coming out.
Sure.
It looks beautiful when you're making
That's
it. It's
right.
glowing and
Yes.
and I think that's really tough to deal with.
The
I think
distraction.
many people just love there and they stay there. Because I think a lot of collectors love that. They love that sparkle. And it's just not of interest to me. To me it's an art material. It's to be used to make sculpture. Oh yeah, I don't consider myself a glass artist. I'm an artist who uses glass right now.
Yeah.
Because I've done a lot of different things in the past, sculpture, installation art, painting. So it just fits what I want to do right now.
How's working with your wife?
It's wonderful. We're together 22 and a half hours a day. It's great. Yeah, I mean, people think it's like magic and like
100% of the time, 90% of the time,
Yeah.
85?
But it's good.
Yeah.
75.
Okay.
Because you're always, we're two individuals, and we're pulling. But what's really important is that we really want to get the best for each other. And in the end, you can suggest and do whatever you want, and in the end, you do what the person you're helping wants to do.
Your art's gone in different directions over the years. What decides that? I mean, you do, obviously, but when do you decide to do something different?
Yeah. Well, I think it starts with an impulse. I'll actually wake up from a dream, and I'll have an image in my mind, and then I have to figure out how I'm going to make that image. And with the spinners and the tornadoes that I made, the blown forms, they really came from a dream. I saw a tornado form in the dream that was moving, but it was an object. And I went in that direction. the last 14 years, I've been canoeing with a group of women, and we will actually camp out on the river for 2 nights. So we'll take a 50-mile canoe trip. And I think on that canoe trip, that water and that ripple and that slow ripple becomes important to me. Now, I have more stories. I have inside information that I take to the work. So the work expands, and the drops go from being these cute drops to these beautiful, stilled, long shapes that are coursing down the piece. And the acid etching breaks the surface, so it's both water to me and it's skin. So now it's got this softness to it. So everything changes as we kind of evolve.
But even as it changes, the concept from within always comes first.
I think so. And what's lovely for me is to know that I've had these all along. That image came back and I finally remembered again or listened to the inside saying, no, now these are ready. Now you can work with it. Yes, now you can do it.